And for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability, which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is Michelle, and for the next hour I will be reading from the January 11th issue of the Sunday Gusto from the Buffalo News on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Cover story: The best of the best in 2025 dining. Our food writer serves up her most memorable bites of the past year, by Francesca Bond. Some meals stick out. In a year of eating, it's difficult to remember every bite, though it's easier if you, like me, follow the phone's eat first rule. What's the point in remembering every little thing? What matters most tends to be what you remember. Looking back at the last year and all the eating that makes up a year, these are the most memorable bites of 2025. Barbecue wings from Kelly's Corner, Delaware Avenue. I ate several chain restaurant wings for reporting purposes leading up to a spring evening at Kelly's Corner, when the glistening barbecue wings slid onto the bar like a treasure chest of rubies. Compared to the chains, Kelly's wings were significantly meatier, crispier, and adhered better to the sauce. But they weren't just better than the chains. They were some of the best wings I've ever had. Beef on Weck from Mortuary Meats and Cafe, Elmwood Avenue. By using cold, rare beef and horseradish mayo, Thomas Morty tweaks the old, timely beef on Weck sandwich, which was already a tasty little masterpiece, as Anthony Bourdain once said, to make it palatable to a wider range of modern diners. Decadence of Egg from Oliver's, Delaware Avenue. Oliver's Decadence of Egg is pure delight, from the name, which sounds like it should title a book, to the plating. Lift it comes in an eggshell sitting in the crater of a wooden egg tray designed perfectly for it. The dish is tiny, just a few bites of creamy sous vide egg yolk, pancetta, and rich potato foam. Carrot from Restaurant Pearl Moriasset, Jordan Road, Jordan Station, Ontario. The carrot from the multi-course Michelin star restaurant about 45 minutes across the border. Restaurant Pearl Morisset is not noticeably carrot-like. Carrot is used to make a crispy wafer shaped like a cigarette, which is filled with scallop roe pate. I described it in the feature on the restaurant as savory praline stick, but sigh if only Praline sold tubs of these. Carrot from Quinnell, Franklin Street. Carrot is much more recognizable in this French carrot salad. Ribbons of multicolored rainbow carrots are tossed in a tangy pickled mustard seed vinaigrette with toasted almonds. On top is a wedge of funky creme de Bourgogne cheese. Carrots and cheese make a great, if unexpected, couple in this dish by marrying the textures of wet and crunchy carrot with soft, sticky cheese. Fetish Tamer from Yemen Star, Sycamore Street. Caramelized croutons bound together with dates form a sweet and sticky base in this Yemeni dessert. A layer of sweet cream and nigella seeds are poured on top. It's like a sweet version of Thanksgiving stuffing. Fried cheese from Mira, Elmwood Avenue. Warm bricks of cheese are wrapped in flaky phyllo dough and fried to a golden finish, then drizzled with honey and sprinkled in crushed pistachios. I described it at the time as a mozzarella stick meets baklava. It's easy to love a plate of fried cheese. Grilled pork banh mi from Tham's Kitchen, Union Road, Cheektowaga. Tender pieces of chopped pork join snappy vegetables, carrots, cucumber, and a banh mi roll with crackling crust, which is baked into in-house in this refreshing sandwich. House rolls from Fairbanks, Center Street, Lewiston. Fairbanks house rolls turn the obligatory bread course into its own much anticipated event. They're baked in-house and served warm and salted on a skillet with seasonally changing butters like Herbicus bright green butter over the summer and chicken liver mousse. Lotus flower cookie from One Thai Food on Niagara Street. Low Thai restaurateur Om Tomasiti Koon's lotus flower cookies are beautiful, deep-fried crisps that taste like nutty, fresh fortune cookies and look like intricate flowers. She sells them from a restaurant within the West Side Bazaar. Maine lobster roll from Alcott Lobster Company, East Main Street, Alcott. Lockport chef Michelle Panzatides makes lobster rolls as if she's in New England, not along the Lake Ontario waterfront. She imports the lobster from Maine, breaks it down herself in the kitchen, and serves it on a split-top brioche rolls, which are grilled on both sides with clarified butter. The rolls come warm, Connecticut style, cold, New England style, or slathered in Calabrini chili butter, Alcott style. Mixed berry pie from Portage Pie, North Portage Street, Westfield. Each one of Connie Tier's homemade pies that I've tried has elevated pie's placement within my mental hierarchy of desserts. Her rare pie flavor is Concord grape. Local prognosticating groundhog Dunkirk Dave prefers the pumpkin, long story. But I was thrilled with mixed berry pie that I brought home from the Thayer family's Westfield Pie Shop this spring. Pink striped cookies from Eckhoff Bakery, Foot Avenue, Jamestown. Eckhoff Bakery has been hand cranking its shortbread cookies, which have a signature stripe of pink icing down the center, nearly every day for the past 70 years. About the size of a business card and as addictive as Oreos, Echo sells them by the box and gives a free cookie to each kid who walks in. Rice Mochi Tea Latte from Buke Baking, Millersport Highway, Gettsville. Fresh mochi made with sticky rice, milk, and sugar is blended into a sediment and layered on the bottom of a boba tea-like beverage. So the blended sticky rice is sucked up in each sip like a tapioca pearl. The plain version, Rice Mochi Tea Latte, is subtle and earthy. At first I eyed the flashier flavors like mango and wondered if I had made a mistake in getting the plain version, but it took only a few sips to acquire a taste, deep appreciation, and craving for the understated flavor. Sweet Honey Chicken Box from Soul Box, Niagara Street. Canadian chef Warda Hassan's chicken leg, tossed in sweet jerk sauce, is tender and complex on its own, and also fun to eat garbage plate style with a loaded fork of chicken, mac and cheese, and cornbread. The Leaf Salad from Bamboo Ridge, Allen Street, and Walden Avenue, Cheektowaga. Burmese restaurateur Hyla Tu's Tea Leaf Salad, fermented tea leaves, crispy peas, peanuts, cabbage, tomato, garlic, lemon, and sesame seeds is unique for its crunchy consistency and salty astringent flavors. Tempura cauliflower from Black Iron Bistro, Delaware Avenue. Cauliflower, food's best actress, tastes like calamari or popcorn shrimp in this dish. With crisp shells and velvety interiors, the florets rested on a bed of sweet parsnip puree with peppadew relish so that each bite played a chord of texture and flavor. Tom and Jerry from Hydraulic Hearth, Swan Street. This Tom and Jerry requires several tools and several minutes to make. with bar manager Danny Dispo dispensing frothy batter from a pressurized canister into a mug of warm milk, rum, and brandy. Dispo's elaborate version of the beloved seasonal beverage is not something you'd order just for nostalgia's sake. It's as tasty as hot chocolate. Vanilla Concha from Colibri Panadera. Emily Gonzalez Vanilla Conchas, soft pillows of sweet bread crowned in a crumbly halo of sugar cookie, are a beautiful and filling roll, similar in function to a croissant. Gonzalez bakes them from the Massachusetts Avenue Project Commissary Kitchen and distributes them weekly at Farm Shop Buffalo, Lexington Avenue, and Cafe Bewilderment on Hurdle Avenue. The Stream. Movies. Audiences can re-enter the grid when Tom Atkins hits Disney Plus on January 7th. The franchise film's third film stars Jared Leto, Greta Lee, and Jodie Turner-Smith and features a return of Jeff Bridges, who starred in the 1982 original as a hacker who's transported into a dangerous digital world and kicked off the cult franchise with then state-of-the-art computer graphics and special effects. Music. Grammy-nominated artist The Kid Laroi, a direct inheritor of Justin Bieber's glossy R&B-informed pop, will release his sophomore album Before I Forget on January 9th. Judging by the previous released singles, listeners can expect slow burn breakup reflections like A Perfect World and high-hat heavy tracks with lovelorn lyrics, a cold play. It's frictionless listening to start the new year. Shows. And what counts as a quick turnaround these days in the world of prestige TV, The Pit returns for its second season and second day in the life of a frantic Pittsburgh emergency room run by Noah Wiley's beleaguered and beloved Dr. Robbie. The first episode of Season 2 premieres January 8th on HBO Max at 9 p.m. Eastern. Expectations will be a lot higher this time. In the 10 months since Season 1 ended, The Pit won the Best Drama Emmy along with 4 others, including Best Actor for Wiley and Supporting Actress for Catherine Lanassa, who will be returning despite her character vowing to quit after taking a punch. 10 months have passed in the world of the show, which will again follow a single ER shift, this time on a 4th of July weekend. After much longer absence, the night manager will return for a second season. It's been nearly a decade since Tom Hiddleston's hotel worker turned spy stalked a dirty arms dealer on the show based on a novel by John le Carre. It was meant to be a limited series for the BBS and AMC, but its creators are now bringing it back with a new and original story. This time it's airing on Prime Video in the U.S., beginning with a 3-episode drop on January 11th. Things to do. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the January 11th issue of the Sunday Gusto from the Buffalo News. Things to do: Mozart Festival, Winterfest, and a free day at the zoo by Tony Roberto. The Buffalo Philharmonic Orchestra is again starting off the new year with a celebration of the masterworks of Wolfgang Mozart on 2 weekends in January during the annual Mozart Festival. Former BPO music director Maximo Valdez returns to Buffalo to conduct the first weekend with a program that features Symphony No. 38, Prague, followed by Mozart's Great Mass in C minor, considered his most exalted and personal sacred work. Joining Valdez are sopranos Natalie Saneles and Camilla Isabel, tenor John Turano, baritone Holden Turner, and the Buffalo Philharmonic Orchestra. Performances are 10:30 Friday and 7:30 Saturday in Kleinhans Music Hall. The second weekend, January 24th and 25th, called Mozart's Violin, features conductor Anthony Parente and violinist Aubrey Alverson, performing Mozart's Violin Concerto No. 5 in a major and his Symphony No. 35, Hafner. The program also includes music by two of Mozart's contemporaries, with Joseph Bologna's Symphony No. 2 and Maria Theresia von Paradise Overture to the School Candidate. Winterfest, Thursday through Sunday in various locations in the town of Tonawanda. Winter festivals such as this one can draw families out of the house with activities for various ages and interests. Here are highlights. A senior dance opens the fest from 6 to 9 Thursday in the Senior Center. Activities include Build-A-Boat contest for kids on Friday. Activities include a Build-A-Boat contest for kids at 5 p.m. Registration is closed. An all-ages Buffalo Model Boat Club demonstration from 6:30 to 8:30 in the Aquatic and Fitness Center, and beef and bourbon and wine tasting at the Paddock Golf Dome. On Saturday, there's a free mini golf, face painting, balloon animals, music, and costume characters from 11 to noon at the Golf Dome. The Aquatic Center will have a reduced rate for the open swim from 9 to 4 Saturday and 9 to 3 Sunday. Bring your inner tube and watch Lilo and Stitch from the pool at 5. Sunday, January 18th, a free rec skate 3 to 4 and pizza party 4 to 5 close out the activities. Third Tuesdays, 9 to 5 Thursday at the Buffalo Zoo. One of the most popular exhibits at the Buffalo Zoo is Arctic Edge, where we are transported to a winter climate perfect for polar bears, like the zoo's own Luna, plus other Arctic and subarctic species. But it is one thing to visit in the summer heat and another to experience it in the weather-appropriate winter season when snow naturally fills the landscape and you can see your breath in the air. It's even better when visiting on M&T Bank third Thursdays when admission is free. Can't make it? The next two third Thursdays are February 19th and March 19th. Shrek the Musical, presented by O'Connell and Company, opens at 7:30 Thursday in Shea Smith's Theater. The beloved green ogre Shrek and his wisecracking sidekick Donkey return in this family-friendly musical. The cast features Nicholas Lama as Shrek, Adriana Yates as Princess Fiona, Jack Hayes as Donkey, and Joey Buckner as Lord Farquaad. Buckler also did the choreography along with Emily Weber. The show is directed by Daniel Lenzian with musical direction by Rebecca Crush. Performances are 7:30 Thursdays and Fridays, 2 and 7:30 Saturday, and 2 on Sunday through Thursday, January 25th. Preservation, presented by First Look Buffalo, open 7:30 Friday at Canterbury Woods Performing Arts Center, Renaissance Drive, Williamsville. This is the world premiere for Deborah Yarkham, dark comedy/drama, about what happens when we protect the dead at the cost of the living. Inside a guarded vault in the town's archival library is a sealed box with instructions that can never be opened. But when a young woman's grandmother tells her that what's inside could change everything, she will fight to have it opened. Laura D. Haberberger directs Sarah Emmerling, Rick Latimer, and Lanny Shannon. Performances are through February 7th. Quick calendar. When Harry Met Sally, Rob Reiner tribute, 11:30 today at the North Park Theater, Sunday, Hurdle Avenue. Colin Quinn, 7:30 Thursday, 7 p.m. Friday, and 6 and 8:30 Saturday at the Helium Comedy Club, Mississippi Street. The Trues, The Watchmen, and the Sky Diggers, 7:30 Thursday at the OLG Stage, Fallsview Casino, Niagara Falls, Ontario. Come Back to Earth, live Mac Miller tribute with Disco and No Offense, 8 p.m. Friday, Buffalo Ironworks. The Largest Sober Disco Party, 7 to 11 Saturday in the Electric City, Pearl Street. Riviera Theater, West Herd. Montgomery Gentry, featuring Eddie Montgomery, August 6th. George Michael, Reborn, February 7th. Close to You, Carpenters, February 13th. The Wizard of Oz Once, February 14th. Pearl Jamming, February 27th. The Celtic Tenors, March 16th. Return to Paradise, March 20th. Sticky Sweet, a tribute to Def Leppard, March 27th. Just Like Pink, March 28th. Arabacus, April 3rd. Strangelove, April 4th. The McCartneys Experience, April 11th. Simply the Best, a tribute to Tina Turner, April 17th. John Wayne, April 25th. Television. The Pit is the best of 3 solid medical series. Is there a doctor in the house? In television, it seems like there is always doctors coming into our homes. With the mid-season TV schedule upon us, 3 premieres about doctors. Fox's Best Medicine premieres Tuesday on WUTV. HBO Max first episode of the 2nd season of the Emmy-winning The Pit premiered Thursday, and the 6th season of the PBS Masterpiece series All Creatures Great and Small premieres at 9 today on BTPM PBS. Let's start with The Pit, the 2025 Emmy-winning Best Drama. It's hard to duplicate the tension of the first season, starring Emmy-winning lead actor Noah Weil of ER fame as Dr. Michael Robbie Rabinovich, that revolved around a 15-hour shift in a Pittsburgh emergency room. But after a few hours, The Pit finds its way to be as powerful as it was in season 1. With so much blood and gore in the first season, I would guess I looked away at 25% of every episode. That hasn't changed in season 2. The strength of the series wasn't in the cases as much as with the cast, who besides Weil weren't, and for the most part still aren't, household names. There are too many to mention them all. They include Emmy-winning Catherine Lanassa as charge nurse Dana Evans, who runs the emergency room, and also plays staff psychiatrist Emmy-winning Sean Hatswell as Dr. Jake Abbott, a war veteran who's Robbie's close friend, and a Patrick Ball as Dr. Frank Langdon, a brilliant doctor who had a drug problem that led to a suspension and falling out with the Robbie. In addition, there's Taylor Dearden Cranston, actor Bryan Cranston's daughter, as Dr. Mel King, a super smart doctor who's caring for his sister Becca. The 2nd season picks up about 10 months after the first season ended, with a super busy day on July 4th. The 10 months between seasons allows the series to showcase how the lives of the returning characters have changed, which is something that couldn't be done in the first season. It's played out in one day. The series gets political at times, notably addressing the stress on patients without medical insurance and on young immigrant children whose parents have been deported. The stress on Dr. Robbie clearly is why he's planning to ride his bicycle without a helmet, as seen in promos, to get away with it all in months. The pit won't relieve a viewer's stress. To the contrary, it might add to it, but in a way that is what makes it continue to be so special. It isn't perfection, but it makes you care about the doctors and the patients in a way few other medical series can. Rating 4 out of 4 now on Fox's Best Medicine, the adaptation of the popular PBS series from England, Doc Martin, Josh Charles from The Good Wife and Sports Nights, stars as stuffed shirt, suit-wearing Rule following Dr. Martin Best, thus the title. Ratings 3 stars. One can tolerate sugar as evidenced by my enjoyment of All Creatures Great and Small, based on a semi-autographical book set in the 1940s by veterinarian surgeon James Alfred Wright under the pen name James Herriot. The TV series follows the exploits of 3 veterinarians in northern England: Stuffy, Siegfried, his fun-loving younger brother Tristan, and solid citizen James. Rachel Stanton plays James' hearty and influential wife. Helen Imogene Clausen plays her younger sister Jenny. It's a sweet series loaded with adorable moments and complicated family relationships. Over 7 episodes this season, Tristan has reasons for keeping his World War II medal hidden from the family, while Helen's father, Richard, must deal with letting his young daughter, Jenny, leave the family farm to go into the real world. The show is good medicine for people who want and need a show about decent characters who, unlike the quirky characters in The Best Medicine, feel the real people. 3.5 stars. Awards. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the January 11th issue of the Sunday Gusto from the Buffalo News. Awards. 83rd Annual Golden Globe Award predictions. Golden guesses. Who will win Sunday? One battle after another. Hamnet have momentum by Bruce Miller. Award season is in full swing, and on Sunday we'll see who has a shot at the rest of the trophies, particularly since no one picture dominated at January 4th's Critics' Choice Awards. The Golden Globes, always Oscars' lesser relative, gives big stars like Demi Moore, for example, a shot at winning and doesn't care who the critics think are deserving. Like other precursors, this one has categories for film and television and isn't afraid to veer from what's expected. Also, it rewards those names who actually do show up. With 2 categories, musical or comedy and drama, for Best Picture, there's a sure bet everything will get nominated. Most likely the front runners will come from the winners. So who's going to win the Golden Globes? They're the most difficult awards to predict, but here are the ones who should tower. Motion Pictures. Best Picture, Musical Comedy. One battle after another. This should really compete in the drama category, but it's a sure bet here. Marty Supreme may find some love. Male actor, musical / comedy. It's Timothy Chalamet from Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio from One Battle After Another. Could surprise, but Timmy is on a roll. Female actors, musical / comedy. Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. She's also in the wrong category, but she'll be big. Kate Hudson, Song Sung Blue, has a chance. Male actor in a supporting role, a combined category. Paul Mescal from Hamnet should win, but it will probably go to Sean Penn from One Battle After Another, if he shows. If not, Stellan Skarsgård from Sentimental Value has the clout. Female actor in a supporting role, Ariana Grande from Wicked, for Good, deserves it, but Teyana Taylor, One Battle After Another, has momentum. Best Picture from a drama, Hamnet, with Sinners hot on its tail. Male actor from a drama, Michael Jordan from Sinners, momentum, remember, with Wagner Moura from The Secret Agent as a possibility. Female actor from a drama, Jessie Buckley from Hamnet. She's unbeatable, particularly in this lineup. Renee Reeves from Sentimental Value could slip in. Director, Paul Thomas Anderson from One Battle After Another. Ryan Coogler from Sinners has an outside chance. Non-English motion picture, It Was Just an Accident, and then Sentimental Value. Animated motion picture, K-pop Demon Hunters, Zootopia 2 in second place. Screenplay, One Battle After Another, Sinners, or Marty Supreme as the runner-up. Original score, Ludwig Göransson, Sinners. Original song, Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters. Cinematic and box office achievement, if Tom Cruise shows, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. If not, Avatar, Fire and Ash. Television, drama series, The Pit. Comedy or musical series, The Studio. Limited series, Adolescence. Male actor from a drama, Noah Weil, The Pit. Female actor from a drama, Rhea Seehorn, Pluribus. Male actor, musical comedy, Seth Rogen from The Studio, should win, but there's a grudge against him. If that holds, look at Adam Brody from Nobody Wants This to slip in. Female actor, musical comedy, Jean Smart from Hacks should always win. But don't be surprised if Jenna Ortega from Wednesday gets attention. Male actor, limited series, Stephen Graham from Adolescence was best, but that doesn't mean Charlie Hunnam from The Monster, the Ed Gein story, can't win. Female actor, limited series, Michelle Williams from Dying for Sex, with Sarah Snook, All Her Fault, as backup. Male actor in a supporting role, Owen Cooper from Adolescence, the best performance by anyone this year. Trammell Tillman from Severance could best him. Female actor in a supporting role, Hannah Eidbinder from Hacks, with Aaron Doherty from Adolescent as spoiler. Stand-up comedy performance, Kevin Hart, but the field is weak. Podcast, good hang with Amy Poehler, but if they want stars, Smartless. Books. How Millions of Little Books Helped World War II Soldiers, by Rick Cogan. Chicago. I have a photo of my father sitting on a log on a beach somewhere in the South Pacific during World War II. Herman Cogan was a U.S. Marine Corps sergeant, a combat correspondent who fought in and reported from battles at Guadalcanal, Okinawa, and elsewhere, and of course made it home safely to Chicago. He wrote stories for the Chicago Tribune during the war, and he read books too. I look at this photo and imagine one of those books tucked in a pocket of his fatigues, and I know that he was not alone, because more than 120 million books found their way to soldiers fighting in World War II. He did not talk much about the war as I was growing up, but he did tell me about some of the books he read when the guns were silent. It's one of the most remarkable, if relatively forgotten, stories of that war. But this Books in a Battle tale came rushing back with the release of the latest limited edition from the ever-imaginative company called Field Notes. 4 times a year or so, since its founding in 2007, this local outfit has come forth with these limited editions. The previous 68 of them have featured such topics as baseball, dime novels, space flights, national parks, the Great Lakes, and on creatively on. This new one's called 1943 and was inspired by Armed Service Editions, a series of fiction and nonfiction books published and distributed to the U.S. military from 1943 to 47. More than 120 million copies of 1,200 titles went to troops in a small paperback format designed for a soldier's pocket. The story came to the attention of Field Notes recently when one of the company's recently hired young designers, Casey Renault, found some images of the ASE books online. He showed them to Field Notes boss Jim Cudell, asking him, "Have you ever seen these?" Cudell had not, and later that day he bought some historic examples on eBay. Cudell explains the Field Notes philosophy to me. We like digging deep on subjects. We like selling notebooks, and we like telling stories. This edition ticked all those boxes. We don't worry about things. We just take it on faith that if we are curious about something and excited about the process, people like us will dig it too. The 1943 edition mimics the ASE's horizontal orientation. While there are usual 5x5, 3x5 memo book size, they're the first with 2 staples on the short side instead of 3 on the long side. They come in bright red, yellow, and blue. Cudell had made a call to his friend, novelist, and frequent collaborator Kevin Guilfoyle to share his excitement about this project, and they have come with some extra inspired by the gold mine found in their digging and reading. When Books Went to War, a 2014 book by Molly Gulp Manning. There exists only one complete set of the books, and it resides at the Library of Congress, with individual books for sale pepper the internet. Many libraries hold some. I'm holding one of them, You Know Me All. You Know Me A1, by Ring Lardner, once a writer at the paper. It's worn, its pages are a bit darkened, and a few torn and tattered, and all that tells me is that once a soldier had it in his pocket somewhere long ago. Books. Get lost in the past. 4 memoirs share personal tragedies and triumphs. An Eye for an Eye by James Francesco Bonilla. Bonilla explores the intersection of race and disability in this involving memoir, in which he writes, "Growing up, I sometimes felt like an imposter, two-sighted to be seen as blind, too light-skinned to be seen as Puerto Rican. This often left me feeling isolated and apart, not really belonging to either group." Blooming Holycocks by Naomi Helen Yeager. Yeager, a writer, reporter, and earthkeeper, returns us to the past in this memoir of her mother Jeanette's childhood in the 1930s and 40s, based on stories the author heard as a child. The title comes from the pink, white, and red hollyhocks that grew alongside grandmother's house, from which an old-fashioned flower dolls. by My Journey My Way by Donna Lagori Montgomery. First published in 2018. This friendly paperback details growing up old school. As the author puts it, Montgomery is the mother of 8 children. She's a grandmother. Her previous books include one on kids modeling, based on her family's experiences, as well as the spiritual Bread and Wine and Coffee Talk, made up of short thoughts and reflections. In My Journey My Way, Montgomery writes of having her own Andy Mayne and memories of her first job. She reminds us of past that is nearly lost in our current tech-driven world. Ghosts of 4th Street by Family by Laura Herzl. Here is a colorful story about being the shy, quiet, often lonely 7th of 10 children growing up in the 1960s in a house in Duluth, Minnesota that was usually chaotic with kids everywhere, all of them readers. Herzl's mother, Trish, was always busy with new baby, and her father, known as Gov, had 2 moods, good or bad. I spent most of my time alone, wandering and spying, Herzl writes. I crawled under the dining room table and sat cross-legged on the braided oval rug, hidden by the long white tablecloth, and kept an eye on whoever was in my line of vision. I riffled through my big sister's desk drawers and jacket pockets, opening their letters, reading their diaries, and scooping up their spare change, looking for clues. Herzl gives readers a detail-filled picture of growing up in a family where siblings hope for brief times alone with their parents. She recalls how one of her older sisters ironed the curly hair of another sister on the ironing board. One fascinating character is Gov, who insisted on dinner being served at 7:30, with soft music playing and candles lit. Herzl recalls how every night the call to dinner came in stages, and the menu was made up of food her father asked her mother to prepare, which she did, making everything from scratch. Read Ghosts of 4th Street on Herzl's way with storytelling and for getting to know her colorful family. Taste. Restaurant Notes. By Francesca Bond. It's easy to see how one could become a bit obsessed with French macaroons, whose light as a feather cookie sandwiches in shades of Tiffany blue and ballet slipper pink, so delicate, so difficult, so cute, and hard to find in Buffalo until Alexander Robinson began baking them in East Aurora about a decade ago. I fell in love with them, said Robinson, owner of Blue Eyed Baker. I became obsessed with making them and perfecting them, and when I moved back to Buffalo, I was like, I want to have a business that makes French macaroons, but nobody knew what they were. Robinson began baking macaroons and other pastries from her home, introducing them to the community under pop-up tents at farmers markets. She has been expanding her baking empire ever since. I love creating food that makes people happy, Robinson said. That's usually the case with pastries. After starting in her home kitchen, then moving into a small storefront in East Aurora, Robinson opened her flagship bakery and cafe in 2024. Her East Aurora flagship on East Fillmore Avenue is in a renovated garage around the corner from where she grew up. The pastry case is full of cookies, cupcakes, and macaroons, but Robinson also serves sandwiches, pizza, and espresso. The food is fresh. She often uses local ingredients and bakes the sandwich bread and pizza dough on site. Her team hosts hands-on baking classes in the back of the space. Last spring, Robinson opened a bright and intimate second-floor dinner space above the East Aurora Bakery. The restaurant serves small plates, shareable entrees, and craft cocktails. Multiple entrees such as beef bourguignon and Chilean sea bass features two prices, so diners who want to try several dishes can get cheaper, smaller portions. In December, Blue Eyed Baker expanded into a second location in the village of Hamburg at 50 Buffalo Street. The Hamburg Cafe is an airy industrial space painted white with rustic wood ceilings and garage door windows. Blonde wood tables line the wall. Navy blue couches form a cozy nook near the windows. Nearby is the tiles plate area with a petite toy kitchen and full espresso machine. The vibe of Hamburg's Blue-Eyed Baker suggests it's a cafe, but the menu and pricing lifts it out of the land of cookies and coffee and into a counter-service breakfast and lunch restaurant. Blue-Eyed Baker serves breakfast sandwiches on house-made croissants with delightful touches such as a local Weber's maple cream, as well as elevated lunch choices like a French onion Wagyu Ubera burger with Gruyere cheese and shallot alio. Breakfast includes traditional eggs Benedict over a house-made croissant, a seasonal brioche French toast, right now with a white chocolate custard sauce, raspberry orange puree, sugar cookie crumble, and fresh mint. For lunch, try a vegan crispy chickpea and farro grain bowl with spinach, squash, apples, and pomegranate vinaigrette. 9 pizzas are available on a sourdough crust or optional gluten-free crust in flavors like pickle, which is topped with deep-fried pickles, and ranch, and a loaded everything breakfast pizza with ham, bacon, sausage, vegetables, mozzarella, eggs, and everything bagel seasoning. Before baking, Robinson worked at Fisher-Price. During a stint of working for its parent company Mattel in California, Robinson discovered the glossy, laminated world of pastries. She started taking baking classes, learning how to make foods that she had never seen around Buffalo before, such as the macaroons. I was always the one in the office who would bring in pastries for everyone, Robinson said. When we moved home a couple of years later, I thought it would be a good time for me to start my dream of working towards opening my own business, my own bakery. Blue-Eyed Bakers on East Aurora Cafe, Bakery, and Restaurant is open from 7 to 6, Monday through Wednesday, 7 to 10, Thursday through Saturday, and 8 to 3, Sunday. The Hamburg location is open from 8 to 3 daily. Restaurant news. Allen Burger Venture closed after 10 years of serving craft burgers and beer in Allentown. The Buffalo food scene isn't what it used to be, wrote the restaurant owners on social media. On our way to listing the best 40 restaurants in the area right now, we've published the next installment of 10 on BuffaloNews.com, which includes everything from farm to table fine dining to an international food hall. Food events. Tiff Nature Preserve is hosting a winter harvest soup workshop from 10:30 to noon, January 24th at Furman Boulevard, Tiff Farm. Tiff will provide local produce and other ingredients to prepare a vegetarian soup, which would be paired with bread and handmade butter and eaten near a window with views of Tiff's winter landscape. Tickets are $35. The workshop is for adults 18 and up. Old Fort Niagara is holding a candlelight 18th century dinner and fundraiser from 6:30 to 9:30, January 31st at 102 Morrow Plaza, Fort Niagara State Park, Youngstown. The menu is inspired by 18th century food. There will be live music by Orion's Belt and complimentary beer, wine, and non-alcoholic punch, coffee, and tea. Tickets are $77. Historical or festive attire is encouraged but not required. Easy and cheesy lasagna. A shortcut or two helps make this lasagna a weeknight worthy dish by Sheba Prakash and Jan Valdez. Traditional lasagna is a once-a-year project for me. I love it deeply, but it's rare that I can carve out time for it. When it does happen, it's in the dead of winter when I have absolutely nothing else to do but spend the entire day in the kitchen. While it's impossible to beat the classic version with the homemade bolognese sauce, and when I can manage it, homemade pasta, I'm all about an easier version that makes lasagna a much more frequent occurrence. This recipe is exactly that. This lasagna is about as low lift as you can get, while still achieving cheesy, crowd-pleasing results. Here's how to make it. Tablespoon of olive oil, medium onion, chopped, ground beef, kosher salt, ground pepper, marinara sauce, mozzarella, lasagna noodles, and whole milk ricotta cheese. Arrange your rack in the middle of the oven and heat the oven to 400. Heat the oil, breaking the beef, brown the beef, add the onion, salt, and pepper. Open the jar of marinara sauce and spread a thin layer of the sauce on the bottom 9 by 13 baking dish. Make ahead. This lasagna can be assembled and refrigerated up to 2 days in advance, or frozen for up to a month. Thaw the frozen lasagna 2 days in the refrigerator before baking. Lighten up. Taste. White bean salad with lemon vinaigrette. 1 can each of garbanzo beans and white beans. 1 cup of diced cucumber. Red onion, vinaigrette, mozzarella, tofu, pearls. Lemon vinaigrette. Finely grated rind of the 1 lemon. Juice of 1 lemon. Olive oil, garlic, Dijon mustard. After a recent move, we realize it's time to lighten the load. The excess books, knickknacks, and record albums need to go. But do the pounds? So do the pounds. As a trained chef and recipe developer, I cook and eat all the right foods. The trouble is, I eat too much. A new year offers the opportunity to make a few adjustments. Cutting the fat, for example. Move over holiday beef roast and party-friendly chicken wings. Embrace lean proteins instead. Stock a container full of cooked, lightly flavored, portion-controlled items such as chicken tenders, salmon, or thinly sliced pork tenderloin. Red chili yogurt dip. 1 plain Greek yogurt, 1 tablespoon of harissa sauce or red chili garlic sauce, grated rind of 1 lemon, ½ teaspoon of salt. Mix in a small bowl, refrigerate 15 minutes or before serving. Ginger and lemongrass chicken strips. 1 carton of plain Greek yogurt, 1 tablespoon each of ginger paste. 1 teaspoon each of curry powder and salt, 1 teaspoon of ½ teaspoon of ground cumin, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cayenne, optional. Blanch the vegetables in with red chili dip and yogurt dip. You have been listening to reading of articles and features from the January 11th issue of the Sunday Gusto from the Buffalo News. Your reader has been Michelle. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the front section of the Sunday Times. At 2 o'clock, we have the New York Times opinion section. And at 3 o'clock, we have the New York Times arts and leisure section. Stay with us for these readings and more throughout the day. If you're listening to this publication online, you're probably using our website, a podcast player like Spotify or iTunes, a streaming service like Siro, or a smart speaker. Did you know that we now have a dedicated app that can be downloaded to any mobile device, like a smartphone or tablet, for free? App users can conveniently access our live stream and any episode of our podcast easier than ever. To download the app, just type NFRRS in the search window in the Apple App Store or in the Google Play Store. Contact us anytime if you have any questions by calling 716-821-5555, extension 5. Thank you. You're listening to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. As of this year, our agency has broadcast more than 300,000 hours of radio readings. Volunteer radio readers read newspapers, magazines, and books to area people who are blind or have a print disability, who are provided reading radios. Radio Reading's broadcast signal is provided at no charge by WNED. Radio Reading broadcasts from studios at 1199 Harlem Road in suburban Buffalo. Please let others know about Radio Reading. It's your service. For more information on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, call 716-821-5555. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print